Hello everyone and welcome to my home. My name is Jessica Tijerina and this is my kitchen. Welcome. Today is Friday, Juneteenth, so there's a lot going on. If you don't know anything about it, educate yourself a little bit. Look it up today, find out what's going on around our city, around our state. There's lots of stuff going on. Inform yourself, be informed. It's something I've been working on with Rose McGee at Sweet Potato Pie. She is baking sweet potato pies for people for Juneteenth. We did it last night in a live demo. It was really fun. And I'm baking about 6 pies for tomorrow. So super excited about that. Again, if you're not familiar, please just educate yourself. It's a day of education. I think that's the best way to put it. So welcome again. My name is Jessica Tijerina and this is my kitchen. Today, as promised, we've been talking about this all week long. Some of the great things that I picked up at the Northeast Farmers Market. Okay, little background. I grew up in Northeast, went to high school near Northeast as well. Pretty much stayed here my whole life. But I did travel abroad in college. I went to the U of M, again, stayed here. And I was in Spain for a little less than 6 months and I ate the Spanish tortilla, Tortilla Española, a lot. It was kind of the thing. It was served in tapas bars in little squares. It was served on sandwiches called tortilla de bocadilla de tortilla. One of my favorite things to eat. And it's very simple to make. It does deal with really hot oil, so I just want to make sure everyone is aware of that, but I did save that part to show you guys how we do that. So today, I went to the farmer's market on Saturday. I'm there every Saturday. Saturday market is every Saturday in Northeast Minneapolis at the St. Bonifacius Church parking lot. It runs from May 16th to October 17th, every Saturday, rain or shine. And of course, you know, let's just take into consideration all the things with some of the COVID stuff. So just make sure that you're, you know, staying home if you're sick, don't come out. Make sure you wear a mask. Keep your distance from others. Make a list ahead of time before you get there. So that's kind of what I'm here for, to show you what kind of things that you should write down on your list if you are going to jump at the farmer's market tomorrow. So today we're going to just talk about Spanish tortilla. And it is called Tortilla Española de patatas y queso, which is Spanish tortilla with potatoes and cheese. What I found was some pullet eggs, which are smaller eggs from hens from Brand Farms. And Brand Farms is real local, Farmington, Minnesota, been around, family owned since 1958. And guess what? They also have 4,000 apple trees. So I'm super excited for the fall. So again, farmers market's open till October 17th. So hopefully they'll have bushels of apples for us at that point. I'll return and let you guys know and we'll make some apple stuff. Also, I picked up from the Wisconsin Cheese Outlet, which is not Minnesota. It's technically New Richmond, Wisconsin, but they have a lot of cheese from two cheese places, Ellsworth and Gilman. I bought 2 1-pound blocks of Gilman cheese. I bought a smoky cheddar and I bought a jalapeno cheddar. And they've been selling in markets in Minneapolis for the last 40 years. So another family-owned business, which I absolutely love. So every Saturday I'm at the market, I'm doing interviews with some of the vendors, letting you know what the products are available. Go to the Northeast Farmers Market website as well, and it'll let you know every week what vendors are gonna be there and what they potentially have available for you. Some of them, if not most of them, offer online ordering as well, so you can just pick up. You don't even have to peruse, but some of the fun is to peruse. Just depends on how busy it is and how safe you feel, but it's a great place. The times I've been there every Saturday, it's just everyone's very respectful, and I really love it. Not too big, not too small, a lot of vendors, not just food either. There's some fun stuff. So we'll catch up on that later. But Spanish tortilla, the recipe is online as well, jessicatijerina.com. And this is Tortilla Española de patatas y queso. So this is gonna yield about 4 to 6 servings depending on how you serve it. You can eat it in wedges, you can eat it on a sandwich, you can dice it up into little cubes, however you wanna serve it. This is gonna use Brand Farm eggs, like I said. Pull those out of my fridge here. And I already cracked 2, so these are beautiful eggs, okay? I did wash them just because you get them from a local farm. They wash them, I'm sure, but I wash them anyways, just because. Brown eggs, beautiful. They're a little smaller than normal. that you are used to seeing, but I'm just gonna crack, I have 2 eggs in there already. I'm gonna crack 2 more. Okay, and then we're just gonna do just a quick stir with the whisk here. Just whisk them up a little bit. And I've already had these eggs all week long. I made a bunch of hard-boiled ones, and then we had Spanish tortilla last Sunday, the day after the farmer's market, just to see. Because when you have a dish that's primarily eggs, you really want to taste the egg, and that's really how you can tell how fresh the eggs are too, you know. The yolk is really bright yellow, and it's hard, and it's dense. It keeps its shape. It doesn't get too runny. And these are beautiful eggs, I will tell you that. So you're gonna have 4 to 5 eggs, 4 medium-sized potatoes, washed, peeled, and diced, about 1 pound. I had these small ones, but I also had 2 really big russets that I diced. I actually did, for time's sake today, I actually diced them and I parboiled them, so they're partially cooked already, so that you guys aren't hanging out for 30 minutes waiting for the potatoes to cook. So they are partially boiled. I did boil them in a little bit of salt water. And then I diced up 1 small onion, peeled and diced, of course. And by small, I mean real small. I mean, it's, you know, tiny. Sizes are a little different than they used to be 20 years ago when I was young. When you said small onion, you were talking shallot size, and that's kind of what that is. Now a small onion is the size of a baseball, and a normal size onion is like the size of an orange. And then crazy, sometimes organic ones are the size of a melon. That's just crazy these days. But you never know what you're gonna get. You know, it's an onion. Potatoes, same thing. And then you're gonna do, or I'm gonna do about 8 ounces of cheese, half a pound cut into small cubes. I did both. I did, of course, like I said, I'm using the Gilman cheese here. I did a little bit of shredded, and then I'm doing a little bit of diced as well. I just wanna show you what this cheese looks like, guys. Very awesome. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe, sorry, not very good at this. Too much light, probably. But if you can see, there you go. See the coloring in there? You can see those peppers, jalapenos, and red peppers in there. It's a beautiful cheese. It's very good. It's very creamy, very creamy. It'd be good in like a mac and cheese too. Maybe I'll try that this fall as well. Those are for me to nibble on later. Like I said, I diced some up into small cubes. I diced the potatoes, the onion, and the cheese all about the same size, because that's kind of how you want it. You want them to all, the onion and the potato to cook about the same rate, and the cheese is just gonna kind of melt in there. And then about a teaspoon of salt and about a half a teaspoon of pepper if you like. So in an 8 to 10 inch skillet, heat your oil on medium. You don't want to fry the potatoes crispy. These are not potato olays, okay? This is just trying to soften the potato a bit. You actually don't want to brown them at all. So you're gonna go ahead and add the potatoes and the onions. So I just want to show you guys a quick trick to find out if your oil is hot. You take a wooden spoon. Oh, and that is not as hot as I would have liked it. But that's okay. It was boiling right before I started. It's got a little bit of boil under there. So to test your oil to see if it's hot, you take a wooden spoon, back, front, side, whatever it is, and you just dip it right into the oil. And if it starts to fizzle and bubble, your oil is hot, ready, and good to go. Because we already parboiled the potatoes, I'm okay that it's not totally boiling and sizzling right now. Again, that's not what you want. You don't want it to sizzle too much because you don't want to cook the potatoes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the potatoes and the onion, okay? So I'm gonna add slowly. In Spain, the woman that taught me how to do this, just like, when the oil went everywhere, it was so crazy. I can hear it sizzling, so that's a good sign. You want about 2 cups of oil, and you want to use extra virgin olive oil or olive oil. Spanish preferred, because this is a Spanish tortilla. The Spanish would never use any other kind of oil than olive oil, and extra virgin olive oil too is preferred for this type of recipe, or pretty much for anything. The olive groves in Spain were amazing. I traveled quite a bit. I went camping a little bit in Spain as well. And it was absolutely beautiful, and we would drive through these man-made lands where you could see the tier level of the land, and then far in the distance you just heard and you could feel, even while driving, you could feel this like thud, 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 and it was these gigantic like structures rock structures that we're smashing the olives to create olive oil. So that first thud of any batch and harvest of olive oils is your extra virgin olive oil. Very first press, nothing after that. Extra virgin olive oil is only the first press of olives. Everything after that is olive oil. Little tidbit for you. All right, and then we're gonna add a little bit of onion here, guys. Like I said, one small onion. Give it a little bit of extra flavor there. Okay, we're gonna just let that chill, hang out, cook for a minute. Like I said, we've already par-cooked the potatoes, so we're not gonna do it too long, but we wanna infuse that oil flavor in those potatoes as well. I can hear it sizzling. It's not too much on your end, which is okay. Again, I don't want to saute these potatoes, and that's why there is such a large amount of oil. I mean, this is 2 full cups of Spanish extra virgin olive oil with about, I don't know, a pound, maybe a little less of russet potato, and then a little bit of onion. So you just want to basically boil your potato and onion in the olive oil. So we don't have to do it that long. Hi guys, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I see Sam and Cindy, Spence. Welcome, guys. We're doing a Tortilla Española de patatas y queso, Spanish tortilla with potatoes and cheese. I'm using eggs from Brand Farms in Farmington, and I'm using Gilman cheese, Gilman Farms Cheese Corporation, the queso jalapeno today that I purchased all at the Northeast Farmers Market. Every Saturday in the St. Boniface parking lot in Northeast Minneapolis. They're open through October 17th. Every Saturday, rain or shine. So I am there usually sometime between 9:30 and 10:30, depends. And I do a live demo there as well. Doing some interviews with some of the vendors, just letting you guys know where your food comes from, you know? It's always nice to know. It's a lot more fresh too, if you're getting it from the farmer's market, most likely, if it's not a reseller. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that just to a slight medium there. I'm going to pull this off since my potatoes are nice and cooked already. Like I said, we par-cooked them, so we didn't have to put them in there a little bit. That oil is good and hot, so I'm pouring them that whole thing into a strainer over an empty pot. Quickest way to do it, then you don't have to wait for the oil to cool, okay? So now this pot, or this pan, this 8-inch pan is nice and full of oil. You want to keep a little bit of that oil on the side anyways to use, but I do have some extra here for you guys. So you don't want the potatoes to stick, which is great. We're going to drain the oil or reserve a little bit for later, and then in a large bowl we beat the eggs. So medium-sized bowl, whatever. Again, these are Brand Farm eggs. They're pullet eggs, so they're a little smaller from different hens. And then we're going to add the potatoes and the onion and the cubed cheese into the eggs. Season it with salt and pepper. Okay. Potatoes. Perfect. See, I used my strainer here. I'm going to add my cubed cheese. Okay, now that cheese is going to melt real fast because those potatoes are nice and hot. I'm going to take that whisk out there. I'm going to grab a smaller spatula here and just mix it all together here. Now, because there is cheese in here, the likelihood that it's going to stick to the bottom of this pan is a little bit more than it would be if you didn't. That's okay. That's what olive oil is for, right? The more oil you have, the more fat you have in your pan, the less likely your eggs are to stick in general. All right, and then I've got some fresh ground black pepper. I grind my own spices. So I have some fresh ground black pepper. You'll notice the amazing aroma it has and how fresh it tastes. Pepper's a lot more spicy when you grind it yourself straight from the black peppercorn. Or rainbow peppercorns, whatever you decide. All right, so I've got that. I've got some extra shredded cheese for later, and I've got those to nibble on. So my pan's pretty hot here, all right? I'm gonna wipe it down just real quick. Okay. I'm gonna turn that back down to medium. You see how hot that is? It's red, it's burning, it's on fire. I don't wanna burn the eggs, so I'm gonna kinda let it chill down for a little bit. I'm gonna take this little black piece out of there. A little burntness, there we go. All right, then we're gonna add everything back in, all right, with a little bit of oil. A little bit of that reserved oil. I'm gonna add this oil, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan there. Okay, I'm actually gonna add just a little bit more from my reserve here. So one thing to note, you guys, because this is really hot oil, there's gonna come a time in a second that I'll show you that we're going to flip this, okay, which can be kind of dangerous, but it's kind of fun too, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and pour this right in there, and we're gonna keep shaking that, okay? We're gonna shake it. Shake it till you make it, shake it till you make it. Just shaking those eggs. You know. I'd like to say like I didn't get my workout in, so that's what I'm doing, but I don't work out because it's boring, but someday I'll learn. All right, so there's enough oil in there, I can already tell, because it's not sticking. I can kind of shake it, and it's just kind of moving around in there, you know, kind of floating. The eggs kind of started cooking on the side already. And I'm using a silicone spatula just to kind of circle the edge. If you have a nonstick pan, that's great. I used to make these in my cast iron pan, but realized that because of the size of it and how heavy it is, and because of the lip on the side, it's really difficult to put a plate on top and flip it upside down without getting oil all over the place. And hot oil, not a good thing, guys. Not a good thing. It hurts, it burns. It's almost as bad as hot sugar. All right, guys, so we're just gonna kind of keep shaking that. What we wanna do is we wanna cook the bottom without letting it burn, okay? It's not like an omelet, but it kind of is like an omelet, but not really, because you're not gonna fold it over in half, and we're actually gonna flip this whole thing back on its upside down so that the whole thing does cook and that the egg is fully cooked. What we wanna do is have it, in Spain they eat it cold, but they also eat it warm. It's traditionally served in tapas bars too, cut up in little squares with toothpicks, and it's cold. And they serve it with like an aioli or just a mayonnaise in general. And let me tell you guys, Spanish mayonnaise is nothing like our mayonnaise. It's very fresh with oil as well. It is absolutely delicious. Very light, very light. Like I think I probably had a cup of it every single day. If I could have drank it, I would have. I'm just gonna turn the heat up just a little bit there. So you can see there's quite a bit of oil in there. That's okay, that's what you want. You don't want this to stick to the pan. That's like the ultimate no. Because if it sticks to the pan, you're gonna have a really hard time flipping it on its side, okay? Upside down to scoop it back in there. So we're just gonna have that hang out a little bit. What I'm going to do now is I have some fresh chives from a friend's garden, and these are just unbelievable chives, you guys. They are just like hard as can be. Very sturdy. I like them a lot. I've been using them quite a bit. As you can see, I don't have very many left. I just keep them in a little jar with some water on the bottom. Keeps them fresh. I'm just gonna dice a little handful on the bias, which means you're gonna cut them at an angle. Kind of a little fancy chef trick there. Super simple, but it makes it look fancy, you know. Okay. So since the egg is still a little liquidy on this side, I am gonna go ahead and just put that in there and just let it kind of set in there with the eggs. Throw in, ooh, it smells delicious too, these chives. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and pop that on there. This is looking real good, okay? Looking real good. It's still kind of liquid, so I'm gonna let it cook a little bit, turn the heat up just a tiny bit. And dice a little bit more of this green onion here for you guys. So we're gonna just use that as a pretty little garnish at the end before we serve it. And traditional Tortilla Española doesn't have cheese in it. It's just egg and potato. But I really wanted to highlight one of the cheeses that I purchased at the farmer's market from the Wisconsin cheese outlet. I found a smoky cheddar that I used the other day in a, let me tell you this. So I have pretty much a no-waste household. Hi, Terry. Thanks for joining. Which means that I try not to throw anything away. Okay, that might sound impossible to some of you, But listen to this. Okay, so I have a compost, right? Which not a lot goes in because when I have peels of potatoes and I have, you know, skins of onion, the skins of garlic, the leaves and the stems of anything pretty much, I throw into a Ziploc freezer bag, and at the end of the week or the month, however long it takes me to get that, turn that down a little bit, full, I make a broth or a stock, like a vegetable stock. So I can make like 9 quarts out of 2 1-gallon bags full of stuff. Okay, garlic pieces, garlic bulbs, ends and bits and pieces of whatever, basically. What I don't put in there are things like mushrooms or from the cruciferous family or the brassica family. So I don't put broccoli or cauliflower stems in there. I don't put kale, anything that's going to give it a real bitter flavor. Brussels sprouts, I don't put those in there. But with those things, what I did with Brussels sprouts, asparagus, kale, the kale stems and stalks that are kind of fibrous and too fibrous to eat, get really crunchy and chewy. All right, I'm gonna stop for a second because I'm gonna flip this. What I wanna do now is show you guys here. What you can do is you can go ahead and put a towel over your wrist if you want, just to prevent from, you know, any kind of oil falling on. You don't have to, but it's a nice precaution to have. And so what I wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take this plate. Make sure you have a plate that's just a slightly larger than your pan, because you don't want your hand to touch the plate, okay? Or the pan. I'm gonna go ahead and count to 3 and I'm gonna flip it. 1, 2, 3. See that oil that fell out? Look at that, you guys. That is beautiful. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put that right back into there. Now, my boyfriend, TW, which you guys have heard me talk about before, had lived in Spain for several years, like 5, 6 years, something like that. And he was in charge of making tortilla for the family he was living with. Every week, every day, however often they ate it, which was quite a lot. And his always come out with like hardly any darkness to them. He cooks them perfectly every time. But I guess if you cook them 5 days a week for 5 to 6 years, you get good at it. So he gave me a little refresher last Sunday and I still got it a little dark. I just get so scared that the egg's not gonna cook. But anyways, it looks beautiful. What's gonna happen is now that other side's gonna cook, and I could put a top on it, but I don't have to. I don't really wanna steam the eggs. I don't want them to get real wet once they've actually solidified and cooked. So that's gonna stay there after you flipped it with the pan, with the plate. Return it to the pan. If necessary, add a little oil, but we did not need any. It was actually perfect because just a tiny bit came out, and there's plenty in the pan for the rest of those potatoes and eggs and cheese to kind of hang out in there. So that uncooked side is now on the pan side, the hot pan side, and we're gonna let that cook all the way through. That takes about 3 to 5 minutes, I would say. Once the egg is fully cooked, we slide the tortilla on a plate and you let it cool. You can eat it right away, slice it into wedges like a pie. You can slice it into rectangles and put it on a sandwich like a baguette. You can dice it into squares like I said, and I always eat it with a little bit of mayo. Little smoked paprika sometimes, you mix in the mayo and make the smoked paprika aioli-ish type thing. It just reminds me so much of Spain. Smoked paprika is used a lot in Spain to flavor a lot of things. And then just use caution when you're flipping that tortilla. Do a little practice, you know, do a little practice. If you want to wait until the oil is completely cooled, wait about 20-25 minutes, which is a long time, but then you don't have the potential to burn yourself if you want to just practice flipping too, okay? It is much different flipping an empty pan, if you want to practice that way, than it is something that's hot and heavy, like eggs and potatoes. So that is my Spanish tortilla. I am going to actually go ahead and grab a different plate because the raw eggs were on that side. And I know it's not fully cooked yet, but I just want to make sure you guys get out of here and you can spend the rest of your Friday doing something fun, maybe working out, right? Turn my pan off. And you're gonna let that hang out and you're gonna let that cool. My boyfriend puts it in the fridge for like an hour or two because he likes his cold. I'm gonna dig into this right away because I've been waiting for this all week. I know I had some on Sunday, but I just couldn't wait. I was super happy to be able to do this. I'm gonna go ahead now and sprinkle this with just a little bit of those chives that I had, and then even just a little bit more of that shredded Gilman cheese, which is the jalapeno cheddar. And again, I use those brand farm eggs, based out in Farmington. They've been around since 1958, family owned. They also have 4,000 apple trees. I can't tell you how excited. I love apple orchards. So that's it, guys. They will be there at the market on Saturday, which is tomorrow from 9 to 1. Meet me there if you want. I'll be there sometime between 9:30 and 10:30. I'm going to do a live interview with one of the vendors. Don't know who yet. Pick up some more groceries, find something fun to make, and I'll be back again next week showing you another recipe from the bounty that I picked up at the farmer's market. Would love to see you guys there. Shoot me any questions you have. While you're on, share it with your friends. Let them know that I'm here. Check out my Facebook page, Chef JT Arena. Check out my Instagram, Chef JT Arena. And check out my website, jessicatiarena.com, where you can find this recipe. Just type in Spanish Tortilla, and it'll pop right up for you, easily to print. Doesn't take too long. It smells so good right now. I cannot wait to eat it. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow at the Northeast Farmers Market sometime between 9 and 10:30. They are open from 9 until 1 every Saturday, rain or shine. Check out the website, see what they've got going on. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great afternoon and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.